I say that to him because he loves to sleep, gets vertigo, hard to gain weight, has stiff neck, and one finger locks, and he just lacks vitality. And he doesn't believe in detox, Tina? I mean, this is just what he's got to do. Look at this. Okay, he loves to sleep. All right, so he's got a pineal gland maybe that's exhausted, maybe adrenals and thyroids that are down. You know, when your thyroid's down, you just want to sleep all the time. Same with the adrenals, no energy. He gets vertigo, so his lymph system's backed up in his head, and he's got inflammation in the cerebellum. And if he doesn't get rid of that, it isn't all good because that's the doorway to MS, believe it or not. And so that's not good. He does, and he's probably a young man because you look like a fairly young woman. I mean, in the context of that. Hard to gain weight, so he probably is malabsorbed. Same thing that's running up his spine and neck, causing vertigo, is causing him to not absorb his food. But how would you correct that? I guess from his point of view, you could remove your bowels. His finger locks, so you got swelling and acidosis there, stiff neck. Of course you've got a stiff neck. Vertigo comes from the cerebellum. That's all part of the neck area, and you're not draining the lymph down, so he's interstitially lymphatically constipated. He's malabsorbed from that, so he's thin and can't gain weight, but the same malabsorption causes stiff necks and vertigo problems. But if you don't detox, there's no remedy for him. That's the problem with you. Mr. Husband, I'm talking to you. If you don't detox, there's no remedy out of this. That's the problem. Your wife knows exactly the answer to help you. You just have to love her and trust her. What would be the best thing to tell him when they ask me what to do? Love and trust you, Tina. Your husband needs to love and trust you and get with it, because if he doesn't detox, there's no remedy. And the thing is, he'll lose his C-spine. He'll start getting glaucoma, which is pressure behind the eyes, lymph pressure, which isn't good because it's an acid pressure, breeds on the cataracts, which is cholesterol plaquing. And then, honey, where did I park the car? Oh, Tina, are you my wife or are you my mama? It's just the bottom line is, for your husband, he needs to get out of this antagonistic, if he is toward you, and realize that you're learning a lot of truth and that you have the answers to help him with all this, because these are the beginnings of serious problems, from brain cancers to brain lesions to MS. He's got all the setup here, and it's just gotta address that now, because it's kind of bad down the road when he goes, honey, I'm sorry, I guess I wasn't listening. Thanks, Tina from Ontario. Organic Superman, hey, what's the pH of distilled water? I don't know, it's acidic. 2 atoms of hydrogen and 1 of oxygen. Where are you going to be? Somewhere in the 6s or so? 5s? I don't know. I forget what it is. Well, it must be very acidic because it's not changing my... Just a joke. I love this picture. B-W-A-U-S-T-I-N, Tex. Yeah, I love that picture. I was a Jesus freak for a lot of years. Hey, Doc, have the Tea Party adopted your Heal All Tea? It needs to. As a new slogan and logo. Heal the government and heal the people at the same time. You need to run for president yourself. That's a good slogan. This Tea Party, you know, it's foundering. It needs to get its butt. Ron Paul, you're a failure. You need to grab your cojones in your hand and stand up like a man. You're done. You're old. You're done. Now, you need to tell the people the truth and start getting, maybe move to the independent side and start telling people the truth about the IRS. That's a good one to start waking up the government. Now they're going to figure out, where are they going to get the money? Where are they going to get the money now for all the spending they want to spend, because they're misapplying the tax laws. They're stealing from the American people. And we're coming hard after you for it. That's all I can tell you. My team and a lot of teams are coming after you for it. So I would be going the other way and start figuring out how you're going to deal with tens of thousands of people that know the truth. Actually, millions in this country now know the truth. Matthew Berube, B-E-R-U-B-E. Hi, Dr. Morris. Can you address... I did that before. Gynecomastia, I've got it a little bit here. Big-chested, barrel-chested man, you know, absolutely. And we went. I did address that. That's the stilbestrol in the adrenal glands. Get your adrenal glands in a state of health. Even though my chest went down considerably when I was 100%, when I was fruitarian. And we might even have a little more estrogen too, besides stilbestrol. But makes you a little more in touch with the feminine side, which I prefer. All these acids around here. Gin Freedom. Yeah. Oral thrush from, oh yeah, I already talked to you about this one here. Has known about you through David Donovan, so thanks, I appreciate it. Make sure I address this. I'm a 33-year-old accountant residing in Missouri. Vegetarian for 15 years, pretty good. Last year I had a wisdom tooth removed that resulted in a breach of my, oh yeah, I read this before. Now, again, here's Tina's husband, detox, 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 no question about that. I can't believe they broke her, but I have the same thing. My sinus bone here is so thin, they want to rebuild this and stuff, and it's like, well, you know, moving lymph is a trip, you'd think, after all these years, but I haven't been actively digging deep into my body for years, and most people are not going to. Life is what it is, you know, you got to make it is. Last year, let me see here, gosh, she's had surgeries. I read this to you all before here. Tax season, she's a tax accountant. That's a problem right there. Extremely difficult swallowing. You've got so much swelling here in the esophagus and stuff. Again, going back to interstitial lymphatic constipation, dear one, you got to move your lymph and get real aggressive moving lymph. And just, you got to drain the trunk. You got to drain this GI tract, because the esophagus going to the stomach, going to the small and large bowels, you got to clean them. They're just a bunch of cells and two floods. So you got to get in there and clean all the interstitial area out. Hi. Hello there.
How come you listen?
You want to say hi? You just come in to sit there and listen?
Yeah.
Oh, well, come and say hi to
Hi.
everyone here.
Hi there.
This is mother-in-law. Down from Texas, or I should say over from Texas.
Over
right?
from Texas.
Over
Be
from Texas.
fine, yes.
That'd be good.
Tell them how old I am and how long I've been
Oh,
on
yeah. 80 years old. She's doing a high level of raw fruits and vegetables, keeping herself fit. She's working on her kidneys, a little high blood pressure, but that's coming out of her real nice. And so she's doing real well, staying fit at 80 years old. So that's pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Oh, good.
Okay, bye.
Well, so what I'm doing, they send me a lot of questions here, and so I answer them over the YouTube here. So, so relax for a minute, and I'll go through some of these questions with you. Again, this lady, I had addressed her before in terms of the having the swelling of the esophagus here, the sinus surgery and the invasion of the sinus cavity there. I hope that's all corrected itself. Again, check your parathyroid. You want to rebuild the bony structure here. Again, moving lymph, getting sure the parathyroid is up. You could use the Bones formula there. She's, again, accountant here. Let me see what else here. Previously never went to the doctor except for annual blood work. Let me see here. Okay, she got to choking on her own saliva. Again, this kind of, and they call it, have its Barrett's esophagus. But again, this is interstitial lymphatic constipation. Jennifer, love to you. I did talk to you about this before. But the same type of thing in the young man before, where he's thin, he's not absorbing his nutrition properly. This is interstitial lymphatic constipation. This is the interstitial fluid. This is the lymph side of that, backed up, not filtering through the kidneys. So you want to get your kidneys filtering and get this lymph cleaned out of this trunk of this tree, because nothing good comes out of this swollen esophagus. It'll not only choke you, but you run the risk of popping tumors up here, and then cancer, voice box, all these things like this. So you really want to get a hold of this and address this now and to get that out of you. But it's the same thing for everyone we've read this morning. Must be, you know, how that all works out kind of interestingly. It's a God thing. But we must address these lymphatic issues. We're faced with them. And Tina in Ontario, this is just what your husband needs to learn this. This is why detoxification is always the golden key. Because anytime you have a swelling, you have pain, you have inflammation, this is all acidosis. And this is all result of not the blood, but of the lymph. This is why I was telling you about the case of the lady with all the tumors on her legs from London. They're dressing her blood, putting her legs with cellophane. This is the Mayo Clinic. The best of the best. Not really the best of the best, because the best of the best doesn't know too much more than the last of the last when it comes to allopathy. That's why you have to take your health in your own hands. Understand what the gig is here and how to find yourself remedy. You guys have been, a lot of you have been suffering for years, and you don't have to suffer anymore. It's easy to get this stuff cleaned up. I say easy, but set in for a year when you're going with heavy interstitial lymphatic constipation. It could take you 6 months to a year. So what? What else have you got to do with your life? And you've suffered enough. So we're here to help all of you guys that's suffering. I love this lady's name, Miss Juicy Kisses. I'm telling you, some of these names are something else. This must be a nice lady. Let me see. I have been getting a lot of UTIs. I've already read this one before, and then she's got the PCOS, where she's popping a lot of cysts on the kidneys or ovaries. It doesn't matter. It's a polycystic syndromes. You know, they got all these new names or things, but really, when your lymph system's backed up, you're going to pop tumors or cysts all through you, even when you don't even know you're doing it. This is part of the problem with all of us. We can have tumors or cysts or polyps growing in us, and we don't even know it because it's all about the lymph. And remember, you're fighting kidneys, and that's the lymph system. And there's nothing good. Remember, most cancers are lymphomas, so moving your lymph is very, very important. And especially you from the UK, you've got to get some warmer climates and get this scleroderma out of you. You don't mess around with scleroderma. I'm just telling you, don't mess around. Get it out of you. And the ulcerative colitis, same thing. You're going to get that lymph moving and get that ulceration healed up, because it's just going to keep burning from the inside out. When you get ulcerations in the colon and things, it's really burning you from these acids from inside the wall out, not on the wall. It's coming from inside, which is where all the cancers come from. So you want to take care of that and get yourself back into a good state of happiness there. This is from NEROLI 528. Hi, Dr. Morse. Could you please give your expertise on detoxing the brain body from exposure to a natural gas? Now, I've already talked about that one, too. Some of these are replicas and all this. Again, the natural gas is neurotoxin. So it can really shut down the autonomic nervous system, even the central nervous system. And again, detox is the golden key, because how else do you get these neurotoxins out of the body? Neurotoxins are kind of like sulfur. They don't want to go, but you want to keep detoxing that body. Fruits, berries, and melons, especially because neurological problems can come out of this one. This is Leech Simrak. Dr. Morris, I plan on doing a fruit fast of apples pretty soon for my genetic retina condition where cone cells are missing. Yeah, I read this one too, where your cone cells are missing. So, again, get yourself way up there on a raw food diet, because remember I told you about the spinal bifida case we had where she was born without L4 and L5. Remember, L4 and L5, the lumbar vertebrae, are the kidney vertebrae. She was born without them. 3 years on a raw food diet, this lady has L4 and L5 in her spine now. So we talked before about the genetic blueprint God has of the human body. Get those magnetics up there. Get that energy, that consciousness up there, and the cells will replicate themselves at a higher order. We're used to replicating cells off of dead animal meat, off of cooked foods. Those magnetics are low. Cells, when you start eating raw foods, the cells of the body is like wakening up from sleep, because they've been used to low magnetic energy, and now you're insulting the body with high, powerful energy and chemistry, and everybody's waking up. So keep doing that and get deeper into that, and you can regenerate the rods and cones of the eye. And this is true with retinas, and this is true with any brain tissue, any nerve tissue, any liver tissue, any heart tissue, ovarian tissue, prostate tissue, doesn't matter. It's all just a bunch of cells and two major fluids. Just keep that in mind. So Tina, your husband,